This is gonna be a tough one, guys.
It's a little tough.
This is going to be tough. Listen, we've had this conversation over and over and over. I've told you guys that remote work is not here to stay, and these companies aren't loyal. And I've said that over and over and over and over again. And I know some people, when I made the previous video, right? When I made this previous video, I got a lot of flack for people saying,
Orlando, no, remote work is here to stay.
and I was like, these are companies. These are greedy companies. And I'm going to go with their history of, screwing over workers rather than you believing or trusting your own company that they will do what's best for you. Now, listen, look, you don't have to take my word for it. Look, let's jump right into it. My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, guys. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. It says here, many people who bought homes far away but are now getting called back to the office are pretty much screwed. Hey, whoa. Those aren't my words. I'm just reading the article. I'm just a messenger, guys. Now, I did pre-warn you that some of this stuff was going to happen. And unfortunately, guys, a lot of people, which doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of people went ahead and bought the biggest investment of their life. And they put all of their eggs in one basket on the hope that their company was going to be loyal to them, with the hope of trusting their own company. And unfortunately, companies do what companies do.
Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
They lie. They choose money over their workers. This isn't nothing new, guys. This is nothing new. David bought a house in Florida in the panhandle of January 2022 to be closer to his family before remote work became the norm during the pandemic. He told Insider that he had always felt the need to live in a tech hub given his career as a kind of business consultant called Agile Coach. He had previously lived in the Bay Area in Seattle and most recently in a budding tech hub in Raleigh, North Carolina, where he had left in 2021. 3 months ago, he said he took a new job with the understanding that he would be working remotely. Well, David, that's where you made the mistake. When you put your trust in these companies, man, I'm telling you, you're bound to be disappointed. Listen, guys, listen. I've said this over and over and over. You cannot trust these companies. These companies are not loyal. These companies will cut off remote work when it's not the popular thing. And that's what I was saying previously. Now, this is a shame that we kind of know where this is going to go, right? We do know that this gentleman, David, bought a home too far away and he put all of his trust in his company that he would continue to be able to have his nice, great job at a great salary and be able to work remotely. We know how this ends and it's not looking good. Someone in the comment section, tell me, what are your beliefs? Do you believe a corporation will choose money over you, or do you think the corporation will choose you over money? Let me know in the comment section, because in my experience, it's definitely money over you. 3 weeks ago, however, the company asked him to work from his office in northeast region of Florida. The kicker, it's a 5-hour drive from his new home in Freeport. Oh no, he bought a home 5 hours away from his actual job, because he thought,
No problem. You know what? I'm gonna be working for this corporation. I'm gonna be working remote for the rest of my career here. I'm gonna retire in remote work.
and this is the sentiment that I'm starting to see with a lot of people, is they truly believe that they will be working remote forever. And here's the thing, guys. I just want to bring this home really quickly before we continue on. A lot of these companies, they treat remote work like the flavor of the month. When the pandemic was happening, when people were stuck at home and we were going through that situation, companies had to come up with a way where they could satisfy their workers and still have them work for them, right? And remote work was one of those things. And people got used to being at home, so companies said,
you know what? Instead of us losing all of our workforce, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna tell our workers that we're gonna continue doing remote work for the foreseeable future.
but here's the thing. The foreseeable future was 6 months later. That's the problem. And that's the issue that it is because these companies did this. It's just like these corporations that do these donations and they tout that they do them. You know, Cancer Awareness Month and all. They use it for a sales tactic.
Do you believe in this thing or not?
They're not just doing the donation just because they want to do the donation. They're doing the donation as a sales tactic so that you will buy more of their product. The same thing is happening with remote work. These companies will do anything to satisfy you and to make sure that their bottom line is in the positive. I've openly can't do it. I did feel a little bit blindsided about this, he says. Highbarger is not the only one experiencing the sudden shift in employer expectations about where they work. An increased share of employees who have taken jobs with the promise of work from home, benefits, and moved away are facing a similar bind as they're called back to the office. And this puts people in a predicament because now, especially with this situation with David now has to make the decision. Do I go ahead and move back and move closer to this job, or do I go ahead and leave this job and have to find a job closer? Either way, he's going to have to make a big decision. And that big decision is, do you sell your home or do you go buy a new home? And in either one of those situations, it's going to be, I don't know, with the market the way it is, I'm thinking it's going to be a loss on his portion. So probably the best scenario for him is to stay where he is and possibly get another job. But if you read between the lines here, he did say that he chose that job because it was in a tech hub, which means that he probably was getting paid more. So he's probably going to have to take a haircut on his pay if he does something closer to where he lives. Because you have to remember, it is 5 hours away. It blows my mind. So David decided that he was going to come up with a solution here. And he says a daily 5-hour drive across the state to the nearest office is hardly a consideration for him. He said that he would, however, consider going to the office once a week if his employer fronted the cost of a hotel. I mean, do you guys believe that a company would go ahead and not only pay him a salary, but they're going to pay him, you know, basically a daily stipend, or go ahead and pay for his hotel for him to come to work? Like, do you guys really think that is something that's going to happen? I'm sorry to tell you, David. I'll be the first one to tell you. It's not going to happen. These companies are going to pay you more money. They will let you go and they will just say, hey, look, you can't make it. We understand. We'll go find someone else who can come to the office. They're not going to do that and pay you the high salary and pay a hotel. They're not going to do it. I'm sorry. They won't do it. But the one thing he won't do is move. I moved here for my relatives. Being remote freed me to live anywhere in the US, maybe anywhere in the world. I would not consider selling this house. So he is saying that he's going to take the hit, guys. He's going to take the hit on his pay because now he's no longer in the hub of the tech area that where he was, where it's 5 hours away from where he currently is. So he's willing to take the haircut. But this is a lesson, guys. And this is a scenario, once again, where you should not do the biggest purchase of your life, guys. And you're going to determine it on the trust and loyalty of your job.
Stop it.
Then we have another situation. It says a pharmacist was asked to return to California after moving to Oregon. He moved to Oregon and now they're saying,
Hey man, look, yeah, that remote work thing that we said, yeah, you're gonna have to come on back if you want your job back here in California.
Jamie Sexton purchased a home in Salem, Oregon in March 2022 for $375,000 before deciding to buy out of the state. She paid $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in California, but in January 2023, less than 5 years after closing on her house in Oregon, the pharmacist said that she was asked to return back to San Diego. Go figure. figure. A company, knowing that you have an address in Oregon, doesn't give a crap, and they're gonna say,
Yeah, we really don't care, man. Either get back to California or, yeah, we'll cut you and we'll find someone else.
look at that, a company not being loyal, and a company, a corporation, choosing money over their employees. Who would have ever thunk that? It says, for the moment, my job is still remote, but the indication we're given a few weeks ago that we're going back on site. So now we see Jamie's gonna have to come up with a decision. Is he gonna sell his home and go back? Is he gonna give up his job? Well, it says here, with the looming call to return to work in San Diego, Saxton decided to list the home in June 2022 for $410,000, $35,000 more than what she paid for it. She received an offer well below that, with the highest offer in February being $330,000 and the lowest being $300,000. So look at that, guys. She went ahead and put the house up for $410,000, $35,000 more than what she asked for, and she ended up getting offers for the lowest being $300,000. That's $110,000 less. So she was going to take a huge hit of moving back to San Diego, which proves to me that the amount of money that she was receiving from this job was a high salary. It was more than what she could get where she was located at. And that's the thing. Remember, guys, when you do these remote work jobs, a lot of the times the salary is based on where the actual company is, where the office is. And if she was in California, she was receiving that California salary, even though she was living in Oregon. So she was like,
You know what? I can't lose this job. I can't.
so she put her house up on the market, and she says, I'm not in a position where I could take a big loss on it. And yes, I understand what she said on that, but she shouldn't have put herself in a situation where she believed that her job was going to be loyal to her, and they weren't. And it says, according to Zillow, she ended up accepting an offer for $369,000, a $6,000 loss on a purchase price. She is closing this month and returning to San Diego. And once again, guys, this is the reason why it's important to watch videos like this, is because you cannot trust these companies. And I know, I got a lot of heat for it earlier, and I was speaking my mind because I knew exactly what these companies are going to do. And they're still doing it. They're still telling you guys, remote work is here to stay. Don't worry. And I know how it goes. Most people don't care until it happens to them. But don't be surprised when your company, even though you're doing remote work and they promised you the world, they promised you that they would never get away from remote work, and when they start calling you to come back to the office, come back, or we're gonna fire you. Don't be surprised, because as I always say, these companies aren't loyal. And then the last scenario is really simple. A couple decided that it was in their best interest to move back in with their parents. They moved back in with their parents weekly and then travel back to their regular home on the weekends. Now that has to be crazy. So instead of taking the loss on the job, instead of selling your home, instead of finding a job that's closer, they decide to trek and live with their parents during the week, and on the weekends travel back to their home that they bought that is too far away from their job currently, because their job promised them, and pinky promised them, that they will always have remote work at their place. And come to find out, the company lied. Oh my Lord. You know what, guys? Listen. Don't trust these companies. As always, guys, you won't get all of your information from this one video. Please check out this video here. It will help you learn about the housing market, financial news, and get into your first rental property. The information you will get from it will be gold, I promise you. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.